Hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Wendy Margolin and I help clinicians grow your practice with content marketing. I want to talk to you today about Instagram stories. Now, stories, as I'm recording this, we just found out that on Instagram stories, you can finally link to outside articles, outside resources without having 10,000 followers. I am super excited about this for my clients and for all of you because so many of you don't need 10,000 followers and you're not going to get there without buying them or, doing all of these follow for follows and all of these kinds of things that people would do in order to make Instagram this place of pressure and having to be the most popular one on there. But really, we just want to be able to share links. So that's super exciting because I know, especially with COVID, for example, I've had clients where we're sharing important information and we want to be able to link to it. And it's just unrealistic that people are going to, click the link in bio or that you're going to add a link every single time there's an article that you want to share. Not to mention all the ways that we now can get our audience to go to our websites. So this is very exciting and I want to talk a little bit about Instagram stories and how to use them as a clinician. So let's dive in. The first thing is that I don't know if you guys have ever met an influencer in real life. So most likely you have someone who is an Instagram influencer, or maybe it's TikTok or whatever it is, but someone who has, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of followers, and you meet them in real life. So I remember the first time that this happened for me, and so for me it stood out because I'm a millennial, so I have kids who I raised before smartphones were really as popular as they are now, and there were so many apps and social media, and I have one kid, well, I'm still raising all of them, but I have one that was born basically with a tablet as an extension of his arm, right? So I've seen both ways. And I remember the first time that I saw an influencer in person, I was at a department store and I saw someone who I vaguely knew. And I think I kind of knew that she was active on Instagram, but not really. And I saw her with a teen kid and they're walking around the store and she's literally talking to the phone, taking pictures and videos the whole time. And I just looked at her and I thought, wow, that looks like a lot. Like you can never turn your brain off from needing to talk into your phone that way. So that was something I just had no interest in ever doing. So maybe that is one reason that you have not been diving into stories. So, and I can tell you for myself, I find posts to be a lot easier than stories. I know a lot of people feel the exact opposite. But maybe you can relate to me where I just don't want to share the minutia of my day. But here's the truth. Not only do you not need to, but you really shouldn't. It's just not something that you need to do as a clinician in order to grow your practice, and that's why you're on there. If you have your personal account, that's something else, but I'm talking about your handle that you use or your social media channel that you are using for your practice or healthcare business. So why should you bother using stories at all? And then how do you do it in a way that helps you grow and support more people? So here are just some interesting stats that I found recently from Hootsuite. They're a platform that I use for scheduling and I've used them for, I don't know, maybe for a very long time. I don't even know how long. Hootsuite in a blog wrote that 500 million people use Instagram stories every single day. That's 500 million people around the world. That's a lot of people. That is a good reason to be using stories. So they're obviously an important channel for your practice or your business. And here's another statistic. 58% of people say that they've become more interested in a brand after checking something out in the stories, right? So you're obviously not a brand. Well, maybe you are, but the point is that it shows a different side of you as a clinician or your practice. There's so many things that you can do in stories that you are not able to do in posts in the same way. So that is the reason to do it. The second reason that I think is so important is that stories in Instagram are a tool to engage with your audience. Now, the point of being on there is that it's social. And stories let you do that in a way that posts don't. On a post, you can ask a question and hope that people comment or take whatever action that you're asking them to take. But on stories, it's much more natural because there are all these stickers, including now the link sticker, so yay. But there are all these stickers that let you take a poll, let you ask questions, let you do all of these kinds of things where people can very simply, with a quick tap, engage with you. So let's talk about the ways to use stories. Now, the first one is what you've probably done, which is that you've shared content that someone else has posted or your own post to stories. Now, what I like about this is that it's a way of, like, a very soft way to have this give and take on Instagram with your colleagues and prospects of people who may refer to you. So what I mean by that is that when you share someone else's post, because you find it meaningful, that person actually gets a message in their DMs that you shared it. Now, they'll maybe share yours back, and there's this back and forth. Sometimes that goes a little too far, people sharing it back and forth. But, so that's the first thing. But the second thing is that maybe you contact them down the road with a question. It's really the start of building a relationship because they'll see a history of your conversation in the direct messages, and they'll see that you've shared their content, right? You're sort of building up that bank of goodwill with this really easy action. So that's the first thing that I really like about a way to use stories is that I think it's an easy way to build up goodwill with people who you want to maybe have on a podcast or maybe get a referral from or maybe ask some advice to them, right? So you've already done something very easy for them. And there's a record of that when they see your follow-up question. All right, so that's the first thing. Another thing that you can do is that you can share clips from an article. So you can screenshot it on your phone. You can share certain parts. You can underline it with the image and then put it in the stories. And now you can put the link sticker too. So yay for that. So that's the second thing. That's building up awareness about something you want your audience to know about. There's also, if you're going to go live, so you can, before you go live, you can share a story where you put that engagement sticker with a live countdown. So it's a really easy way to let people know that you're going to go live. You could also do a poll. Now, what a poll can be serious or can be just for fun. So just some ideas about polls. One could be that you're, let's say you're choosing between two things. Paint for your new office, right? You could just show the two swatches. Let people vote. You don't have to listen to them, but you can let them vote and it's fun. Or let's say it's a little more serious. You are choosing between one night, they're gonna extend the hours between two different nights of the week. You can ask on Instagram and take a poll. Again, you obviously make the final decision, but you will have not only gotten your audience to engage with you, but you will have sort of done this informal survey of what would work for them. So I love that use of polls. And another thing you can do, which is, let's say that you have a new, you're kind of more advanced in your marketing and you have a new freebie or checklist or something on your website, or maybe a meditation short podcast or something like that. So you can let people know about it in the stories and use a poll to say, do you have this yet? And the answers can be yes or not yet. Don't let them choose no, because choosing no is always there. They're just not going to engage with the poll. But the yes people will say yes, and the not yet people you can reach out to and say, hey, do you want it, in the direct messages. So that's another great way to use stories. You could also use it to actually tell a story. So share a process of the way that something works. Maybe your first therapy appointment. Obviously, you're not going to take videos of an actual therapy appointment, but you could take photos of certain steps. You could explain it in words. It could be a story of you getting into a new brick and mortar space. Maybe you're opening a new office. You could show, images of you picking the furniture, painting it, whatever it is, all the steps that it takes to get into your new office. So that's kind of sharing a story. You can do, if you have a bigger healthcare business, one thing I love doing with stories is a following around one employee. This is great for when you are working on hiring, which everybody in healthcare now is. So you can show sort of a day in the life of a nurse or a CNA or a physician's assistant, whatever it is that you need to hire. You can take one of those people and let them walk through their day and follow them along in the story. So it's kind of like a stories takeover. So that's another fun way to use stories. So now if this sounds like a lot of work to be adding posts and now you're also adding stories, you can make this a lot easier by having some examples of stories that you are just doing consistently week after week, and you save it in your phone and you're able to just throw it up there every week. So an example of that would be Q&A. So you can have a template for Q&A saved in your stories, and I've given these away in the Clinician Social Media Club. So having something like that you make of your own or you get from me or someone else, so that can be in your phone, and you put that up, let's say every Tuesday, and you just consistently invite people to ask questions. You could let them ask open-ended questions, or you could give a specific topic like breastfeeding or stress during the holidays, whatever it is that is your area that people are asking about within your practice. That could be a topic of something you're answering in your questions and answers. So after you ask the question, you put the stories template up. You can answer those questions later when they come in, either by typing in an answer and posting it in the stories, or just doing quick videos, selfie videos, if you find that to be really easy, doing these quick 15-second videos that you are quickly uploading the answers there. So those are some ways to use stories on Instagram in order to engage with prospective colleagues for referrals or collaboration, and in order to reach out to more people who could use your help. So, and in order to have a little more time, besides having templates in there, a great way to have a little more time to spend on social media without wasting time that you don't have is to join the Clinicians Social Media Club, where you get customizable Canva templates with fill-in-the-blank captions, where all you have to do is add your expertise and your personality. And when your posts are ready and you're not spending time writing those captions, figuring out what to put up each day or 3 days a week, whatever it is that you're doing, you have a little more time to spend in those stories that can help you reach more people. So thanks so much for listening. I appreciate having you here. And as always, hit subscribe so that you don't miss any videos.